A new study shows no long-term cognitive benefits to breastfeeding. Here to talk about those results is Dr. Kumar. Good morning, Dr. Kumar.
Morning, Amanda. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great.
So what does this new study say?
Well, it's interesting. There are clearly great benefits to breastfeeding. There are children that are breastfed exclusively for the first 6 months. They have less trips to the doctor. They have less respiratory illnesses. They have less diarrheal illnesses. They bond more with the mother. There's benefits to the mother, perhaps long-term. There's a reduced risk of breast cancer and ovarian cancer. So there's a lot of benefits to breastfeeding that are clearly known. And one of the long-held beliefs is that breastfed children also do better cognitively in the long run.
And that means mentally,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're smarter, quote. They're smarter. That if you're breastfed, that you get exposed to the, quote, right nutrients at a very young age that helps brain development. And in the long run, perhaps breastfed children have higher IQs and are smarter than children that are not breastfed. And that's what this study addresses. Now, this is just another piece of data. This isn't conclusive. This isn't the nail in the coffin or anything like that for the cognitive benefits of breastfeeding. This is just another piece of data. We should interpret it in the larger context of all the data that exists. But in the past, the data that had existed about the benefits to IQ and breastfeeding has been haphazard and not very well controlled. So this study was in Ireland, 8,000 children that were studied that were exclusively breastfed compared to children that weren't, and they studied them at age 3 and again at age 5. At age 3, there appeared to be a benefit to breastfeeding and hyperactivity, but by age 5, that advantage had dissipated, and if you'll check the IQ and the cognitive abilities of all these children, they were equal regardless of whether they'd been breastfed or not. Breastfeeding
is a personal choice.
Well, for some people it is, for some people it isn't. Just yesterday we were talking about this at work, and one of our techs, she has a sister-in-law who can't breastfeed,
right.
And I remember how difficult it was. I mean, breastfeeding isn't trivial. It's very difficult.
Well, it was very emotional for me with my first one, so we chose with the second one. We couldn't go through that.
Yeah, it can be difficult. For a first one, it was very challenging. We needed a lactation consultant. It's not trivial and easy for everybody. We do think it's ideal, and the recommendations are to exclusively breastfeed for the first 6 months, but that's not possible for everybody. So everybody that cannot breastfeed for the first 6 months, they do lose out on reduced risk of infection and the bonding that happens with breastfeeding. But at least those people that can't breastfeed don't have to worry that their children are not going to end up being smarter than everybody else. That's one worry and concern that this data kind of provides for those people that just can't breastfeed or choose not to breastfeed. While you miss out on some benefits, your children in the long run are not going to be less equipped to handle the world than anybody else. Those advantages to breastfeed children probably comes from the mother. Mothers that breastfeed typically are more educated, have more time, and are of higher socioeconomic class because they have the ability to stay home and breastfeed sometimes. So it's not always true, but there are advantages to that. But that's probably the reason this study postulates that there are advantages to cognitive ability in children that are breastfed.
Okay, lots to think about when it comes to this. And don't forget, if you've got a question for Dr. Kumar, you can email him at askdrkumar@gmail.com. Don't forget, like Dr. Kumar on Facebook at Dr. Kumar, or follow him on Twitter at MD Pradeep Kumar. It's good to see you.